Hello, is someone there? Is someone there? Hey, Dr. Paresh.
Hi, John.
Hey, Harshad, how you doing?
I'm fine. How are you? Good morning to you.
Good morning to you. A sunny day in Miami.
Miami, wonderful, wonderful. You look handsome.
Thank you. Thank you. I
And the
want
red,
you to meet, I want you to meet Warlick. Warlick, are you there? She's moderating today. She's at, you know Warlick's, right? The artist
yes, yes, yes,
from
yes, yes.
Thailand. Are you there,
Thailand,
Warlick?
Thailand.
Perhaps she just connected and stepped away. Okay, Harshad, I'll be back. I got to do some paperwork.
Sure, sure. How long it will take to start?
It starts in 45 minutes, about, no, 30 minutes.
Okay, okay, fine. Thank you.
Okay.
Catch you there. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Hello, Anita Shug from Germany, right, Anita?
Hello, doctor.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. You are doing a wonderful job. I learn a lot.
Good, good. I like it. Today you're going to meet a neurosurgeon from New York,
Okay.
Kathry Ko. She
Okay.
is originally from Hawaii, but she did most of her practice in New York, and that's where she's at now.
Wow, wonderful. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, don't be afraid. You can talk and you can interact with her and ask questions, okay?
Yes, surely I will do. Yesterday I did ask a question. You were very kind to ask that question to the doctor from Sri Lanka.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, either way, I could ask it or you could ask it.
Yes.
Whatever. Whatever. Okay, I'll be back.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. You're from Germany, right, Anita?
I have done my training in Germany, but now I have moved to Switzerland for the last 3-4 months. So I'm doing the spinal practice. It's like for 3 years, and after that I will move back to proper neurosurgery again.
Oh, okay. Where are you at? Where are you at?
In Interlaken.
Italy?
No, I'm in Switzerland.
Oh, Switzerland. Welcome. Okay, great, great. The land of Dr. Joseph, right?
Yes.
Yes, he's there. He's there occasionally.
It's a wonderful place. It's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I've seen it. I haven't been anywhere close to it. Just Germany. I loved southern Germany. I didn't get a chance to go, but I think it's great. Everything is so close over there.
Yes, exactly. The place I live in, it's close to Germany, but Switzerland, like it's close to Italy and France and Germany. So like you have access to 3 places, and within few hours you're there.
How many languages do you speak?
German.
German? Anything else? The English, obviously.
How many languages do I speak? I speak actually 8 languages because,
Wow.
like my background is I'm originally from Myanmar, from Burma.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know if you are aware of, I belong to the ethnicity Rohingya, like it made a big news in the recent years because we are an ethnicity which the country does not want. So I was the product of expulsion from the country. So I was very young when I left Burma. So I have been traveling to different places, seeking for a safe haven. And
it's not even called Burma anymore, right?
No, it's not called Burma anymore, but as a protest, I still call it Burma because Burma, Myanmar is the name given by the military itself.
Oh, wow.
So like nowadays, again, we have a military coup. So there is a chaos, COVID cases are rising. So the country is back to 100 years back. So
it's Myanmar now it's called,
yes,
right?
Myanmar. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, they're having a terrible time there now, I guess.
Yes. Yeah, it's really horrible. It's horrible for everyone right now. But I was very small when I was, I was around 5 years old when I left the country. So I have been traveling to Pakistan. I lived in Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, and then to Arab countries. So I do speak many languages, in total 8, but 5 written fluently, written and read, but 3 only spoken one.
Oh, very good. We have a neurosurgeon from Mongolia. Hello, Bayam Batsen. Can you talk at all, Bayam Batsen?
I do speak Russian, so I can speak Mongolian. I think they do speak.
Okay,
Russian.
maybe she will. Bayam Batsen, are you there? Oh, there she is. Okay, her picture's here and everything. Wow. Oh, you got to unmute there, and I'll put my camera on too. Where the heck did it go? Oh, it is on. Okay. Okay. You can talk now, Bayam. Just unmute yourself.
I am unmute, I think.
No, she's not unmuted. But Bayam Batson, unmute yourself. I'm gonna ask you to unmute yourself. Ask to unmute. Just the bottom button on your screen, unmute. You gotta unmute so we can hear you. Yeah, you're on an iPhone, right? At the bottom, there's a mute, unmute. You gotta press the button. Can you see it?
Yes, yes.
Okay, yes, you're unmuted there.
Hello, everyone. Hello, John Bennett. Thank you very much for
Welcome.
you always attending me great webinars.
Well, it's gonna be
Thank you
very
very much.
enjoyable for me to introduce Catherine to you, to show the reach. Hello, Warlocks. This Warlock, gee, there's all women here. I'm outnumbered. Warlocks, Bayam Batson, come meet her. She's from Mongolia. She's a neurosurgeon from Mongolia.
Hi, good evening.
Hello.
Welcome. This
What is the
is Bayam Batson. She's from Mongolia.
Yeah, what is the national language of Mongolia? Do you speak Russian there?
What?
Do you speak Russian?
No,
Okay, so
Oh, wow.
Mongolian.
Because
We are speaker
Anita speaks 8 languages.
Mongolian. Өөрийн надтай ярилцахад анч би нөгөө нэг хэл ярьж чадахгүй болохоор ингэж байна л та.
So how many neurosurgeons are there in Mongolia?
Approximately 20.
20. Okay.
20.
Okay. Because I would love to do grand rounds from Mongolia. Maybe someday you can present a patient. In whatever language you want, but no, that's okay. Okay, Anita, you don't have a picture there, right, Anita?
yeah, I do have, yes, I'll just,
Yeah,
I
I'd
don't
like to
know how-
introduce you to Warlicks.
I don't know how to put on the camera here.
Okay,
because I don't
go
have
to the bottom. There's a picture of a camera. You
Yeah,
have
but-
to.
I think I don't have that here.
Oh, you have a smartphone there, or what are
Yes,
you using?
I'm using a smartphone.
No, it's there. It's there. It's there. There should be a button at the bottom of the screen. Let me at the bottom of the
Yeah, I can
smartphone.
see that, Dr. John, but like it says mute, unmute, and nothing else. I don't have that
nothing.
camera
Nothing
option.
happens. Nothing
No, I
happens.
don't have that camera option.
Oh, okay. Oh. Yeah, just ask any kid. Every kid knows smartphones. It's like an extension of their hand.
Намайг одоо орсоор ярих уу гэж асуугаад
So Warlocks, how you been? So Warlocks, how you been?
Hi, I'm great. How are you? Good evening.
You nice background.
Yeah, I'm working on
Who
some.
did the artwork?
Me? Oh God.
That's nice.
No, just I'm about to working on some project. It's going to change now. It's like first Thai cerebrovascular meetings in Thailand that it will be held on this November. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. We're starting to get conferences. We're getting a conference from Serbia, 2 days. And they
Oh.
want 2 Zooms. They
Wow.
have 2 tracks. You know, it's a big conference. You've been to those, right? They have one tract in one room,
Yeah.
another tract in another room, and they both operate all day. So it's going to
Whoa.
be, I got to figure out how we're going to put that. Maybe just have 2 Zooms.
Whoa.
And I guess you go to the website and you pick which Zoom you want to go into, because you can only go into one Zoom at a time.
Yeah.
But so how things going?
Yeah. It's, great. I still working on like the some Thai like virtual meetings that it will be held on this November.
Mhm.
And just as you, I promise that I'm gonna come around in this.
Oh, okay. Have you got the
conference.
vaccine yet?
Yes. Waiting for the mRNA.
Oh, you're looking for
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, they have it in Miami.
So how is Florida? I heard that they have a hurricane, some storm.
We always have this time of year. There are always hurricane threats, but most of them, you know, they build up and they go off into the ocean.
Oh, so
And
your
so
side.
everyone, you know, talks that, oh no, but usually they don't happen.
So you're fine. You are safe.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. The weather's kind of rainy. It's like, well, you guys get a rainy season, right?
Yeah, it's heavy rains and many part of Thailand is flood right now. I think that it's a consequence from the flood like last month, maybe the big flood in China. So like we are more like downhill of China. So I think our Thailand will be flood like next.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Man, we have all women. You, Byron Batson, Anita, and now Catherine. I'm surrounded by women. Man, this is great.
Hey. No, I don't say that. You're gonna afraid like the male like neurosurgeons to come in. Come on, we like equal.
Well, you know, I don't know. Maybe women are attracted to augmented reality and virtual reality more
Come
than
on,
men.
we
Maybe.
equal. Like even we are women, but we work like same. I mean, we work as hard as like male neurosurgeons. Come
Oh
on.
man, I know. I don't know how any of you guys can wear that headset and work. I have complete admiration for you.
No, but like this headset.
Yeah. Well, no, in the OR, on the
On the-
microsurgery.
Oh no, I mean everything is hard at the beginning, but then you will get used to that.
You get used to the headset. So do you wear the headset every day? Do you wear a headset in microsurgery or?
Oh no, it's depend. But me myself,
Yeah.
while I'm training, of course, that we have to practice on like headsets and prepare for everything. So we have to practice with the full options. But then after that, when you are fully neurosurgeon, you will find a way that match your style by yourself.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So like I only like pick what the case that I will use. Yeah.
Well, okay. Hold on, Warlocks. I got to do some stuff. Okay.
Okay, sure.
Got to promote it. I put it on the social media like LinkedIn, Facebook, of course, WhatsApp.
So, John, you told me that this conference is tomorrow, but actually it's today, Sunday.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. Yeah. No, today isn't today Sunday? It's Sunday here.
Yeah, but I understand. So, I mean, I do not blame you, but it's because like our time lab, it's a 24-hour shift. So you in America, in Thailand, we are a different part of the world. So maybe you say this tomorrow, it's mean really tomorrow for you, but for me, it's like the same day.
Oh, okay, okay. It gets confusing. I get confused all the time.
No, it's okay. Fine, I forgive you.
Oh, good, good. Hey, Warwick, so I'll talk to you after, but things are really going well.
Ah,
We got 2 conferences. I got one from, let's see, it's Spain, I think, for sure. I may even go over there. But they want an ongoing channel. Do you know what I mean?
ongoing
Which, you know,
channel.
that may be the way to go, you know, to set up channels, like, you know what I mean?
Like what? Like ongoing, like
Yeah,
with,
yeah, every week
run
they have a broadcast from
continuously.
from the university, like like every week they'll have something to their area. And they're, you know, I think this university is trying to upgrade their reputation as an educational center. So, which great, we'll help. We'll try to help. Can you stick around after, Warlicks?
Ah,
We'll
what?
talk later, okay, Warlicks?
Oh, sure.
Okay. Since you're part of the team, I want to let you know what's going on, including the good news. That's where I'm going. Gotta get rid of that. Let me try to get a hold of Kathry. Did you have your chai this morning? Chai, tea.
Chinese tea?
Oh, Chinese tea.
No, it's just regular tea. Regular.
Chai is tea, black tea with milk.
Ah, chai tea. Okay. Black tea.
So Warlicks, I'll just turn it over to you. You'll just start. Say, hi, I'm Warlicks from Neurosurgical TV, okay?
Okay, so I'm gonna change my
You start.
background to Neurosurgical.
Yeah, that would be nice if you put the logo in.
Okay.
Okay. Demanding, aren't I?
Okay, I'm on.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, since you're part of the team. Hi, I'm Warlicks. And then you introduce Catherine, okay? And you
Okay,
read about Catherine, right? She's a neurosurgeon from New York. And
yeah,
she's
so it's like
working
Kathry
with
Ko,
she's
she is not only neurosurgeon from New York, she also a very talented multimedia artist. We have like,
yeah, you met her before. Let me call her.
so what today is she gonna talk about? Oh,
Yeah, augmented reality and virtual reality. And she's been using tech for a long time.
not a good like speaker actually, but okay, I will try my best.
Hey, Catherine, how you doing? You coming in?
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm setting up my second screen. Be there a second.
okay.
Cool.
Yeah, Catherine had a brief. She used to do regular webcasts, art on call. And actually, we did a series on Google Glass. I don't know if you ever saw that. Hello, Kiki. Welcome, Kiki.
Thank you, Roger. Thank you, John.
Welcome. Yeah, we did a series on Google Glass. You never tried that, right, Warlicks?
No, I just heard about
Yeah, that was before
Ray-Ban.
your time. Before your time.
Oh my
But
God.
everyone thought it was a big thing. Everyone thought every doctor is going to be walking around with a set of Google Glass. But it was just a small screen on the corner. You wore glasses like you, and you had like a small screen at the corner.
Oh, I think that they bring it. I mean, you heard about nowadays they have the Ray-Ban glasses,
Yeah, it's similar to those.
similar.
Oh my God, Dr. Kobulo from Africa.
Which are my feelings? I certainly am certain.
Senai, how to pronounce like Senai?
Kathry Ko.
Yeah.
And I'm certain as well. All Indian neurosurgeons. As well are Indian neurosurgeons. As well are Indian neurosurgeons. It is made by the
No, I couldn't.
very other results.
I'll be just like another panelist, Warlick. So you run the show, okay?
Second round.
That.
Especially.
Dr. Kobulo, can you hear me?
Especially.
Yes, Dr. Bennett, how are you?
Oh, Dr. Kabulo, you got in?
After securing a comfortable lead.
Dr. Kabulo?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes,
Yeah.
Mr.
Oh, I guess your camera doesn't work, right?
Dr. Bennett, how are you?
Good, good. I got your camera doesn't work.
Comfortable margin.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you, Dr. Kabulo, but does your camera work? I don't see you there.
Comfortable lead.
Okay, it's not necessary. That's okay. You don't have to turn on.
To the first.
Oh, there's Dr. Kathry Ko. Here she's here.
It's like the carpet being pulled away.
There's Catherine.
I know how it feels.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, there's Catherine. Let me make a drum roll.
Ah,
How it feels.
okay, let me just get a few things going here.
It's how it feels.
1 second. Virtual.
We got 3 minutes, about 3 minutes.
Okay.
Yes, Suhas. Yes, good evening. Yes, I have been waiting in the
Okay. There we go.
Okay, Catherine,
Hi.
how you doing?
Okay.
Yeah, you met Warlick. She's going to moderate. You met her briefly, right? From Thailand.
Yes, I did. Hi, how are you, Warlocks?
Hi,
And
I'm good.
Catherine,
It's
you
nice
won't
to see you again.
Great, yes.
So I comment because of you.
I saw the banners. The banners are so nice, so artistically rendered.
Yeah,
Very,
well,
very nice.
No one else is doing it. No one else is doing
No.
it.
Just a very small thing. Not that compared to her.
No.
I have her like fan club in the LinkedIn. I click likes on that.
And Catherine, we have a female neurosurgeon from Mongolia here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Bayam. Say hi to Catherine. Bayam Batsam.
From Mongolia.
Mongolia, yeah. The 30 neurosurgeons in Mongolia. And I'm sure she's one of the few female. Are you there, Bayam Batson? I think her connection was kind of iffy. Well,
I see her. I see her photo. That's nice. Nice to see your video.
Hello.
Hi.
There she is. Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Likewise. Very nice.
Okay. And Anita is from, Anita's a female neurosurgeon from, originally from Burma. Anita, she's in Switzerland now, right, Anita?
Yes, true. Dr. Bennett, it's true.
Wow. Cool.
So we got,
Very cool.
you brought all the female neurosurgeons out.
Well,
and this is
it's about time, Dr. Bennett. It's about
this
time.
is Kiki Terrell. He's a big educator from India.
Mm-hmm.
Hello,
Great.
say hi to Catherine, Kiki. You gotta unmute there, Kiki.
Hi. Hello, Catherine.
Hello, hi, how are you?
It's wonderful to see you here. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to this ultra modern message that you're going to give today.
Yes.
All hi-fi stuff, but nonetheless, that is the future of our universe.
That's true. Yeah. I'm going to be getting some links ready. Just give me a second to come back.
Okay, let me know when you're ready, Catherine.
Anytime.
Okay, ready to go. And Warlicks, after I say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, then you start. Okay, Warlicks?
Okay.
Okay, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So yeah, hi everybody. You know, I just I've been doing.
Excuse me, Catherine. I'm sorry.
No,
okay. We'll start again. Okay, Warlicks, are you ready to start?
No, it's fine.
Okay, I'll go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Because we got to make this professional. At least look professional. 5, ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi everyone. Good evening from Neurosurgical TV. So today, as we all know that I do not have to introduce our special guest today, we have Dr. Kathry Ko, in which she not only the famous neurosurgeon, but she also a very talented, fantastic and amazing artist from New York City. So today she's going to give us a lectures about In Brain We Trust, VR and AR and the Future of Neurosurgery So please welcome Dr. Kathry Ko.
Hi, everyone. Nice to see you all, and particularly everybody from outside the United States. Always a pleasure to interact with other neurosurgeons and human beings around the world. I'm very happy to announce that my latest paintings have gotten accepted to the UNESCO show in Paris. And these are paintings. One of the paintings is of Dr. Li, Wenliang Li, who is the Chinese doctor from Wuhan, who did the early alert to the coronavirus. And so his portrait, my tribute to his courage and strength in coming through and speaking about the coronavirus very early on. He died in February 2020 from the coronavirus, but it's a tribute to him. He's 36 years old when he passed, and he was an ophthalmologist. So if anybody is in Paris in this group, just remember that at the UNESCO headquarters, 4 of my paintings will be on display. In my background here, this is some paintings that I did, just talking a little bit about analog representation of neurological themes, because, you know, painting is analog. And this background there is called 365 Days of Brains, and it was on the cover of World Neurosurgery, which was one of the very first representations of paintings on World Neurosurgery. Now World Neurosurgery has art every single cover. I was honored to have my self-portrait as the first cover where they switched to neurosurgical art by neurosurgeons. So what I wanted to talk today a little bit about was 3-dimensional imaging in neurosurgery. So I am going to try to screen share this image, which may be helpful to us. I write for the American Journal of Neurological Surgeons, their online journal called Neurosurgeon. And so if anybody wants to read more on this topic, I'll be referencing a few articles, which you could go to Google real fast, and you could see this article, this picture. This is a picture of me during my residency. You know, I was born and raised in Honolulu. I went to the University of Hawaii School of Medicine, and then did my residency at Mount Sinai in New York City, and actually stayed in New York my entire career because of the art milieu and environment in New York. So I thought it was a very good place to combine both an art and neurosurgical career. This is the year here is 1988, and this is a hologram of the human brain. I was very fortunate to work with a pathologist who was very interested in helping me create holograms of the human brain. I did a thing called the Holographic Neuroanatomy Atlas, where I combined dissections of the human brain. And as you can see, you know, the hologram has a lot of fidelity. This is the hologram and this is the brain. And a hologram is made with a laser. Just to be a little bit technical, it took me about a year to understand the physics behind it. But a laser has a single frequency. That's the definition of a laser, is unifrequency, one frequency, modulated light. And so the beam splitter splits the holographic, the laser light into 2 images, one of which hits the subject, and the other which is called a reference beam. And this is the 3-dimensional pattern of that particular object. It's similar to film photography, but this is using a laser as the source, which energizes that holographic film right there. And a hologram, this is 1988 now, and then I was able to take it into the OR. I'll try to see if I can get those images up a little bit. Yes, so this is one article that I wrote called Holographic Imaging of Human Brain Preparations. Now holograms, the way they create holograms are analog. So it's an analog medium. I'm going to bring you through analog, through digital as we move into VR, AR, and XR. And this is a medical student at the time looking at one of my holograms. And you can see it's very high fidelity. There's nothing that represents 3-dimensionality till this day, as well as the holograms. And, you know, Microsoft a few years ago developed this XR glasses called the HoloLens. using computer generated holograms. And so holograms have been around a while, not the type I'm doing. That requires high level technological assistance, which I had from a group of artists. I didn't do this alone. But the laser used to make these holograms, there's only about 6 in the world at the time. And so that's why I was fortunate enough to be in New York City, where one of those lasers reside. But this is a medical student, and he became one of the most prominent neurosurgery spine surgeons. This is Dr. Roger Hardo. If you look him up, he's all over. He resides at Cornell, and he was so interested in the subject matter of holograms that he agreed to be the model for this article on holography. And as you can see, the year, I can't even see the year here, but it was quite a while back. This is some of the holograms that I created. This is a hologram of one of the patients, and I did a whole series on her called Before and After Surgery. As you can see, it's a really good method for documenting three-dimensional deformities and not only neuroanatomy. That was one of me playing tennis. This is a hologram of the spine, and it's called Human Spine in Zero Gravity. So if you want to read a little bit about the holography, and I wrote the article called Brain Rise, and it's in the AANS Neurosurgeon online. So that would be, you could read a little bit more about the analog attributes of holography from that. And I also did, like I mentioned, then end up taking holography into the operating room. And there's an article, I think in 1998 called Superimposed Holographic Assisted Neurosurgery, in which I took the hologram into the operating room and actually used the hologram as a template to, refashion the frontal bone of a patient who had a craniofacial abnormality. Recently, though, I just published an article, and it's called In Brain We Trust. And as I'm talking, I'm going to try to get it up on the second screen here. That article is just out, and it's in AANS Neurosurgeon again. And let me see if I can just get it on the second screen. It pretty much depicts what's going on now, moving away from holography, because I consider myself kind of an amateur expert in three-dimensionality, because I started in holography so long ago that I'm really a perfectionist when it comes to holograms, when it comes to three-dimensional representation of the brain and nervous system. So when we do these MRI reconstructions or CT reconstructions, and it looks like 3D, it's not 3D, it's pseudo 3D represented on a two-dimensional plane. But three-dimensionality, true three-dimensionality, there's really almost no modality like it except holography. So what I've done recently, though, is I've always had an interest in virtual reality, augmented reality, and mixed reality, which is a combination of both. And a couple of years ago, I went down to and this is again in the article in Brain We Trust. I'm just repeating it. So you can read it as you like, slowly. Just Google it. It's online right now. It just came out. And I went down to one of the museums, and they were, of course, the artists are in 3D first. You know, they use the three-dimensionality, and then we bring it into science and adapt it into the hospital setting. So this one, I went down, I used the Oculus Quest, and this was way before it was still tethered to a computer, like a life support system. It was very awkward, and I couldn't believe that graphics, they were terrible. And for mine, because I'd already been in holography at that time by about 15 years and three-dimensionality, and I couldn't believe it. And then the Google Glass came out with augmented reality, and I bought one, $1,500 down the drain. I used it for about a month or two, and then just realized it was a gag, and it's still sitting in my basement, by the way. I kept it, and then slowly. Just recently, about late 2020, the Oculus Quest 2 came out. And so, of course, I bought it. And it was the first VR headset that wasn't tethered to it was wireless, basically. And this is a revolution in virtual reality, because it frees you from the computer. You're really standing alone. And the graphics are amazing. I couldn't believe it. I was so moved by the three-dimensionality because it reminded me of those first couple of days when I looked at the actual brain holograms, how exciting it was to see something in three-dimensionality, true three-dimensionality. So the way I'm doing it in Oculus Quest now is I've opened a room called the Neural OR in Spatial. And in Spatial, which is a three-dimensional virtual reality setting, you can really interact with your avatar and talk about neurosurgical things. And I'm pretty sure that the brain power behind the game engines, because you have to understand the game engine engineering is so sophisticated. When you look back through what we've done in terms of compressing, first of all, the image into a JPEG, then you take a song into an MP3, and then you take a video into an MP4. The compression algorithms are fantastic. And then there's a huge leap in going from an MP4 to a game, because a game involves an MP3 and sound, music, visuals, graphics, and interaction. Okay, the game has to interact with you. You do something, that object interacts back, and you have a group doing it. So the game, the brain power, and that's why I wrote In Brain We Trust, because now we have to trust the brain power driving these game engines. Because what'll happen is you can easily see, and I don't know if anyone's ever done it. I'd really like to get a hold of one of the master game engineers and create something called a neurosurgery game, where you have a neurosurgical OR, you have a case. We're going to do a subdural hematoma. You bring the patient in, you do a whole workup, and you're interacting with the other surgeons and the other players or role players in the room, like the nurses, the anesthesiologists. I think it would be very exciting and also educational. And I have no doubt that the brain power behind the game engine engineers are going to develop something like this. They're going to move the games from really playing entertainment. It's a little bit more than entertainment, into education. And I think the pandemic and being at home has really spurred this on. So, the way I see the future of adapting VR, AR, XR to neurosurgery or to any of the surgical specialties is basically having glasses that you can see through. The problem with the Oculus, which makes holography unique, with holography, the three-dimensional image is right in front of your eye. With the Oculus Quest and virtual reality, your eyes are occluded. And so your visual field is limited by what's in front of you, and you're in a helmet. And that is not practical in the medical setting or anything else outside of basically your home or a very secure environment. Augmented reality allows you to see, like the Google Glass, to see the world, to function in the world, and you have a screen inside there. The way I envisioned using this type of technology in the OR was when I used the superimposed holography, meaning that I transferred the image onto the patient and did the surgery with that image as a template. And that's how I see virtual reality and augmented reality going and moving into the operating room. Like you could, for example, do a ventriculostomy, 3 o'clock in the morning. All you have is the head, and you have the glabella, 10, and 3, right? 10 centimeters above the glabella, 3 centimeters to the right of midline. That's your entry point. But your trajectory at 3 o'clock in the morning is based on your experience. And so if you could put some kind of an image there with a trajectory on the patient's head, then you could follow that trajectory with your ventricular catheter and hit the ventricle. So that's just one very rudimentary idea that I had developed years ago on how to use superimposed projection images to assist in some neurosurgical techniques. I'm sure we're going to be doing it in aneurysms for the few that are remaining open surgery, some spine surgery, pedicle screws, get rid of radiation, use holographic or augmented reality images on the pedicles, and also for tumor surgery and things like that, things that aren't on the cortical surface. And so anyway, just go ahead and, if you want to read more, hit me up. I'm on a lot of social media, and including TikTok. And my name is Doc Ambidexter. So you'll find me all over the internet, mostly concentrating on art and the application of this in neurosurgery. And if you want more information, there's articles in AANS Neurosurgeon, which I think is a really good journal anyway. Has really, really good articles by some top neurosurgeons all over the world, mostly in the US, but some all over the world, and students. So, all right, well, thank you so much for allowing me to babble on about one of my favorite topics, which is technology as it applies to neurosurgery. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to try to answer some of them.
Thank you for your fantastic talks and open our worlds about AR and VR and our technologies, how it's going to exist with our neurosurgical practice. And it will be really amazing if I really have that things to help me to assist to do the surgery in the 3 o'clock. Okay, yeah. If anyone have a questions, you can raise your hands, ask Dr. Ko directly. I think I have a question from Dr. Anita.
Yes, she's from Mongolia.
Okay, maybe if she don't want to ask by herself, she asked, what's the difference or advantage between neural navigations and the holography that you use in the operating room?
Well, the difference is the year. So when I did the holographic superimposed, 1998. So it was a long time ago. And then neural navigation came in the 2000s. Actually, no, I think maybe the late, 2000, the early 2000s, let's say, Neural Nav was pretty popular, started to become popular. So what the hologram does is it projects the image onto the surgical field. And the Neural Nav actually, I'm not sure that Neural Nav, since the images are accrued earlier, does the Neural Nav keep up with the surgery that you're doing? I'm not sure. Holography is analog and Neural Nav is digital. So it's a whole different thing. At the present time, holography will probably come into the operating room, if it does, through the device called the HoloLens, which is something that you will see and nobody else will see. So it's going to reside in your glasses. And I think that, again, Microsoft, I wanted to buy the HoloLens to test it. It's very expensive though. It's about $6,000 to $10,000, the last one. And so it's a little bit too pricey for me to just play around. And so I'm waiting to hear more about what happens with the HoloLens, but I'm sure that a lot of companies are working with it. The problem with holography is the technical application and the physics are very hard. And that's the holdup now, because you could see that the holograms that I've created the fidelity is amazing. And it's interesting because the brain holograms can go as art or as science. And when you have a medium or a product that does that, it's extremely powerful because nobody knows what to do with it, but everybody likes it. And so I'm not sure how somebody will adapt holography to the operating room. I gave some examples of how to do it, but we'll see what happens in the future.
So, Doctor, thank you so much for answering the question. I have another question, for the neural navigation. Once you open the brain, there is a brain shift. So there is a minimal discrepancy after you open the brain. So in holography, are you taking that point into consideration?
For that, no, because I'm not applying it. My idea was to just introduce the idea and to let other people solve the technical issues. So I don't use it regularly. I just did it on I did about 10 patients because as a woman in neurosurgery, you don't get funding. And so I paid for everything out of my own pocket. I funded my entire research. And if you look at the article, it's called Superimposed holographic assisted neurosurgery. If there's an article there, and it was published without any revisions in the journal Neurosurgery by myself. I'm the single author. And so the application of holography, I will leave it to some people with a lot of backing, financial backing, and just leave it there as, you know, the patients that I did. I'm trying to look for the article right now as we speak, but it is in Neurosurgery and it gets cited a lot. It's interesting that, you know, 10 or 15 years later, people will write to me from all over the world and say, you know, I read your article and thank you so much. But it is a really it's a technical article, not so much, very little art in it, no art in it whatsoever, but it's very, very technical on the aspects of holography. And I wanted to leave it there as somebody who would, somebody else would, you know, pick up the ball and go from there.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for asking.
I have a question, Catherine.
Yeah.
What do you see the impediments to adaptation of augmented reality and virtual reality? I'm not a neurosurgeon, but it's a question I kind of have.
Okay, so VR, you know, your vision is occluded, right? You got the helmet on. So VR would be useful for rehearsal and education. So like I said, I'm creating a neural OR and spatial. If anybody has the Oculus Quest 2 or is a member of spatial, would you hit me up? Because I'm creating a neural OR and spatial, which will involve videos. Spatial is something, if anyone here hasn't gone into it, I think Facebook just bought it. And Facebook owns the Oculus, but so you can tell, you know, these people the big companies are moving into VR big time. And so I think it behooves you, especially if you're starting your career in neurosurgery or medicine, if you're early in your career to really get familiar with these terms, because undoubtedly they will be seeping into surgery and medicine. But VR, you know, your vision is occluded, and so you are whatever's in your visual lens of that VR helmet is basically what you see. Whereas augmented reality allows you to function in the world with aids. So you have you have information in your visual field, but you can also interact with the world. So probably knowing the way medicine works, which is kind of slow. You know, there's a lot of innovations in medicine, but really adapting it, you have to fight traditional medicine, you know, the traditional powers that be. So it will take, you know, some time, but probably the augmented reality glasses type projections will start to seep into medicine first. And then learning education, which gets less funding, will be through virtual reality headsets. I can't tell you though, if you spend a minute in virtual reality and go into spatial, you'll just see the future right there. There's no question about it. With your avatar that looks like you, videos on the screen in front of your eyes, it's amazing.
You know, again, Catherine, I'm not a neurosurgeon, but it seems to me the most inroads have been made in spinal surgery with augmented reality. Do you know why do you think that is occurring?
Because you got to get radiation out of the OR.
Okay.
And because, you know, in spine surgery, you know, because I trained, I finished training in '91, which was really the beginning of instrumentation, spinal instrumentation fusion in neurosurgery. You know, before that, most of the instrumentation was done by orthopedic surgeons. And so there's a big learning curve in instrumentation, putting pedicle screws and neck, you know, ACDFs, ADRs, stuff like that in the neck, low back fusions, mid thoracic, especially the thoracic. You need a lot of, you got fluoro. You have to use fluoro. And if you are doing complicated spine surgery, you are getting, never mind the patient, but you're getting a lot of radiation, the surgeon. And over a period, you know, you can cover your chest, you can cover your neck, but you can go behind a screen, but still from time to time, you will get radiation, especially to your eyes. And so getting the radiation out of the field, out of the room, out of the surgery will be something that would be very beneficial if you can get AR in there instead, and somehow, you know, get the bone and get your trajectory right using AR. I think that would be the biggest help, especially when you're training, you know, on that learning curve in spine surgery. There is radiation because you double check, you know, there's a lot of radiation in the operating room that the surgeon doesn't really would like to avoid.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
Okay. More questions from the panel or comments?
Hi, ma'am. Hi, ma'am. I'm Dr. Hi,
Hey,
ma'am.
Noah, hi, welcome
Oh my
back.
God, it's so nice to see you for the first time. I've seen your pictures on Facebook, and thank you for your kind and supportive comments. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
No, ma'am, it's a huge honor for me. I'm really overwhelmed to see you for the first time on the internet, and I really wish to meet you someday physically. Have the honor of seeing you. You are a huge inspiration for me, especially while I was writing down something on AR, on virtual reality and AR in neurosurgery. I had the honor of contributing a chapter somewhere. I was so much fascinated and intrigued with all your work, and I cited it. I was so much impressed, ma'am. And I think you are such a huge inspiration for all of us, the women neurosurgeons, especially of our age. We are really motivated to see you doing so amazing work that I don't think you are such a blessed person. Not everyone has been gifted this much as you, madam. I think you are such a big, blessed, God-gifted type of person, and we all wish to see someone like you. So it's a huge inspiration, and thank you so much for all the motivation and encouragement you show to me every time. And I think I feel so much moved and so much thrilled.
Thank you so much. It's such a you know, touched me so much to hear those words. I'm sure that you will be so much more than I could ever be. I'm 100% positive, and that the people behind you will also be more. So it's a whole train of pushing everybody forward. Not only women. Of course, it's in my heart to push women, but everybody moving forward. And that's why I concentrate on things that are futuristic, like AR, VR, and XR, because I think that the young people, the people growing up, who grew up playing games, video games, so they're reaching their 20s, maybe their 30s, or maybe even older. They're going to start to now turn their attention back to science. And so I think it's going to be so much more interesting to see how game engines seep into the operating room and do things that are going to be so much more incredible. Interfacing with Neural Nav. Of course, Neural Nav was a huge leap. And the reason why Neural Nav was a huge leap is because they could digitize images. So that's what made Neural Nav applicable to the operating room, because I was there at the very start of Neural Nav, and I'll tell you something, half the time the machine didn't work. and also it was funny, and just a little story. I trained under this very famous neurosurgeon called Dr. Malice, Dr. Leonard Malice. He passed away. He was very good with acoustic neuromas, and we don't do too many surgeries on those. But by the time I graduated Mount Sinai residency, I did 300 you know, acoustic neuromas, suboccipital, yeah, 300. I felt really confident. But we started Neural Nav toward the early 90s. I mean, very, very early, I think, or shortly thereafter during fellowship. I can't remember exactly when it started, but my chiefs used to say, get the intern in here to start the machine. Because they couldn't figure out that generation could not figure out how to start them. They used to they looked around for the medical student or the intern to get the machine going. But now the machines are much more friendly. And so, so it's great to see anybody who's going to be leading neurosurgery in the future. And thank you for being here, and also again for your comments and support.
Ma'am, pleasure is all mine. I'm too much overwhelmed. Actually, I'm so much excited to see you here. I'm so much happy. I really wanted to meet you someday. Virtually, at least, it is something that is a huge honor for me, and I will always cherish all those words you have said to me. It's a whole, a lot of motivation, and I will be very pleased if I'm just 0.001% of what you really are. So it's like a dream for me because you are just much more something like an ideal or a muse, you can say. So it's something like that for me. Madam, do you think that we can integrate this technology in Zoom or some meeting apps so that we can conduct some virtual training programs?
Yeah, I was thinking, well, spatial, that's true. I mean, Zoom took us through the pandemic, and it was before John Bennett was way ahead with Zoom and conferences and things like that around the world. But we will be, and Zoom, took us through the pandemic, but we will be moving in with avatars into areas like spatial. I having gone through a lot of the VR chats, which is the virtual reality chat rooms, there's a number of them now that are very, very popular. And one is called VR chat, and there's some others, but I do think spatial has the best virtual environment for gathering people together. And you can do it on your computer top too, but it's so much better with a virtual reality headset because you can actually walk around, you can interact. And I don't know if we'll ever be doing the conferences that we were doing in the past where everybody would gather in, Louisiana or New Orleans or something like that. I'm not sure. I think there may be a VR component to any future conferences where you can actually meet people and talk to them and show presentations. You can run a PowerPoint presentation of the virtual reality formats now. It's really gone crazy. I was so impressed when I saw it. And so probably John Bennett will one day now have his avatar. He won't even have to be around anymore. He can just have an avatar.
Oh, don't
moderating the whole thing, and
I'm gonna stay around and haunt you. There's a couple of questions from Sunil. Sunil, do you want to ask those questions directly, or you want me to ask them? Sunil Mahia asked, what's a clinical example for virtual, augmented, extended, and mixed reality?
Okay.
Do you see that question, Kathry?
Is that the first one? Hold on, let's see. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay, great. Okay, what's a clinical example for a virtual? Okay, virtual, augmented, extended, and mixed. The clinical example, so it's overlay. Basically, you're superimposing the image onto the operating field. And so with when you have like the HoloLens it's connected through a Wi-Fi system to the computer base. So your image in the HoloLens is changing. And so you can have the image in your glasses, or you can have the image projected onto the operating field. When you, the thing with neurosurgery too is that, you're already wearing, when you're not in the microscope, you're wearing a lot of headgear. The lights, although the lights have got lighter with the LEDs, but you're still wearing, the light, and you're still wearing your loops. And so somehow the HoloLens, glasses have to replace the loops, and that has to be integrated. Or there's a new device called the Facebook glasses. It just came out, and by the way, I bought one, where the camera is right here. Okay, so you're wearing glasses, but the camera is here. And so some kind of feedback and real-time feedback for augmented reality. I think augmented reality is going to come to the OR first. So you can either have it in your glasses, or you can have it projected onto the field. When you project something onto the field, it may not be in 3D though. It may just be an overlay, which is what a lot of people have done now. I think people are working on projecting the image onto the field, but it's not really 3D. Projecting, looking through the hologram, like I did years ago, decades ago, the image was three-dimensional. And it was important that the image was three-dimensional because I was recontouring the frontal bone. I used it for craniofacial reconstruction. And so getting that three-dimensional image of the frontal boss, especially in when you're trying to do cosmetic, make it aesthetically pleasing, was important to have that three-dimensional contour present. It's hard to judge, even as an artist, it's hard to judge that in the operating room. Sometimes, it's important to have a template there to follow. So anyway, that's what I think is going to happen. I'll be really curious to see how it comes in. And I think there's going to be a whole slew of papers pretty soon. I think a lot of people are thinking about this now.
There's one more question by Sunil. What's your impression about surgical theater? What kind of reality is that? Do you know about surgical theater?
Yeah, I think, is that, maybe he can say, is it something like a VR experience?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's actual program made by two ex-pilots that work with the aviation industry to form some types of platform of augmented.
Yeah, I think I do think that VR probably will come to medicine through education first. And so I'm thinking I would like to work with a game engineer to create a game called Neurosurgery OR. And I say game in the most academic sense, where you would, it's not for gamers, but you could have, and that's the difference between gaming and just augmented reality. Gaming is reactive, and gaming has to have this algorithm that is so complex because it's like playing, it's harder than playing chess against an IBM computer, because the game engine has to react to a multitude of offenses, and it has to have so many responses kept in its memory banks, and there has to be other people present. So the game engine is reacting to many people involved in it. And so that's why I really do trust in the game and the brain power of the people who do manufacture and develop game engines, because it is so much more complex than anything we're dealing with. And it's even more complex, way more complex than Neural Nav. Neural Nav is, although it is reactive, it's almost passive, because those images are stored there and it's the same images, whereas in a game engine, the environment is constantly changing. So I'm looking to find an engineer to work with to develop the neurosurgical OR as an educational platform.
Catherine, we do interact with Jason Evans. He worked on the HoloLens for Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll try to put them together with you.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So can you restate what you're going to do in the near future regarding this technology? Can you restate what you want, your plans?
Well, I want to move into the game engine environment with neurosurgery and use it for educational and see where it goes, and actually start to integrate more of VR into my social media platforms.
So that's why you need the engineer to kind of do that.
Well, yeah, I'm looking, I'd like to meet a guy by the name of Manfred, who I think is probably one of the, I just think he goes by one name. So I'm thinking of trying to figure out where he is and get him interested in.
Well, we'll track him down. We'll track him down.
Right, Manfred.
Yeah, I'll type in Manfred. Probably Manfred Man.
Yeah, right.
So,
okay, cool.
More questions, comments for Catherine from anybody? There's Warlix. What do you think, Warlix? Any comment? You're muted, Warlix. You're muted.
Then fantastic, like new technologies that I think that it's all, if we can make it for real, it's gonna be like benefit for our practice, and especially for during this COVID pandemics too, especially for their practice, for young neurosurgeons.
For the resident and person starting in this virtual reality, augmented reality, Catherine, how do you suggest a new person start? What should they read? What videos should they watch? Obviously, they need to physically try it, right?
Yeah, I think it's just like, computers, right? When you started computers way back when you had to know DOS and commands, and then now basically you open your laptop and you don't need any background in computing at all to do computers. The evolution of the computers has been similar to the evolution of VR and AR. And so if they're interested in it, it's going to become standard in medicine. There's just no question. And it has to do with the complexity of understanding three-dimensional neurosurgery. It's not so hard to understand bone structure or maybe general surgery, and internal anatomy, but the brain and spine are very difficult to visualize in your head. Before neural navigation, my chief, Dr. Malice, said it took him 10 years to understand the three-dimensional image of the brain in his brain. That means that, you know, he could see a tumor on a slide, or see a tumor on an MRI slice, you know, flat slice, and put that tumor in his patient's head. It took him 10 years to really internalize the three-dimensionality of the brain. Of course, now with Neural Nav, you know, you don't really need to make that intensive study, because the neural navigational machine will guide you to the tumor, even if it's below the surface. But neural navigation does fail. I remember my physician assistant, we had a very complex tumor that wasn't on the surface. The cortical surface was normal. The tumor was deep to the cortical surface. And we set up the neural nav, did everything, very confident, went in there, and she turned to me and she says, use your artistic intuition, because the machine just failed. And so every now and then you have to go back to your own brain and figure out, and so it's good to have that knowledge. I think that might be missing a little bit now, because, you know, the reliance on technology, you know, whenever you move forward, you give up something. And so maybe the people that really had the image of the brain, you know, the ventricular system, how to get in and out of the posterior fossa, where the cranial nerves were, how to avoid get the third ventricle and all the other structures. You know, maybe some of that knowledge now is just about, it's waning in place of moving forward, moving the whole, you know, neurosurgical specialty forward with technology. So, yeah, the way I see it though is that Neural Nav will somehow become, Neural Nav is going to migrate into VR. I think that's how it's going to, because the computing power is there with Neural Nav already, and the ease of use.
You know, I have a theory, Catherine, about why neurosurgeons, to me, accept the platform of Zoom, and also why it seems to me, of course, I have a stilted view of just neurosurgery. Of any branch of medicine, it seems that neurosurgery is most receptive to technology in general. It certainly applies to Zoom. Of all those specialties, my experience has been neurosurgeons are most open to it, as opposed to dermatologists, cardiologists, or any other specialty. And also the fact that neurosurgeons are used to thinking 3D. I mean, that they're used to doing that. I don't know if most neurosurgeons do that. Do you have any comments as far as that's concerned?
Yeah, I dream in 3D.
Okay. Do you dream in 3D?
Yeah, I have to dream in 3D, like, because like when we plan to do the case, we have to, like, what the incisions that we have to go through, what are the things that we have to avoid. Of course, we have to think in 3D, especially upside down too. Upside down, because we operate from the opposite side. We have to 3Ds and upside down, back to forth, for the back, something like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Not only you should have good knowledge, but good imaginations. Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, John.
Go ahead, Harshad.
Hi, Kathy. Excellent talk. Let me be honest to accept that I was very ignorant about the whole thing. and I have learned something new, technology today. I'm a little curious to know how often do you use in your OR or for your patients during surgery this kind of technology, or it is just an experimental?
I always like a person who's humble, and so
Yes.
I thank you for I admire that in neurosurgery, and I'm very happy and honored to meet you.
Thank you.
So right now, I'm more of an innovator, I just like to see the future. I don't really like, because I don't have the money or the power or the prestige behind me to see these projects and products to completion, but I do like to drop a crumb of an idea, and then maybe and in this case that article on superimposed holography was 1998, and so maybe somebody like Microsoft or somebody else will pick up the idea and move it forward. So at the present time, I thought about it a lot. Certainly when I did those couple of cases with the superimposed hologram, it was very, very helpful. I didn't have the money to continue on. Of course, and then the word got out, and so patients started asking for the holograms. and I had to kindly say that it wasn't something somebody could pay for. It was something that I funded myself. But I found it very enlightening to do it. And honestly, I would do it again. I would spend all my money to do something that was innovative, creative, and what I think would be useful in the future. And we'll see. Some of the young neurosurgeons here on the panel will probably see some of these ideas come to fruition, particularly moving. AR is going to move into the OR pretty soon, and I'm sure they're using it. The problem is that when you move on to new technology, there's a learning curve, and at first it's very inconvenient, and then it becomes standard, and that learning curve can take a decade. And so that's how I see it. But nothing beats your experience, and also your Mr. Harshad, Dr. Harshad, your brain. So
Yes,
I'm sure you have a collective neural power of most of us here with your experience.
We have been trained, in 1985, and in India we used to do the carotid angiogram, percutaneous, and do the cases and operate, and we have seen the various technologies being evolved and refined, and now we are into much more ahead. The neurosurgery was once upon a dead branch, in my opinion, and it's become suddenly live, and people like you are bringing more life to that. And I'm really excited to hear this about this hologram. And I'm honest, I didn't look into it ever in so many years. Wonderful, wonderful. And Professor Leonard Mallis is wonderful man to be worked with. You have been very privileged to work with him.
Yes.
He's a big name in the neurosurgery.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes,
We look forward for such kind of technology to see and understand this thing. Wonderful. Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Well, Catherine, we look forward to getting you together with Dr. Mann. Is it a Dr. Mann or PhD Mann? Manfred?
Oh, Manfred. No. Manfred was a
engineer.
He's a hacker. He was a hacker.
Oh, okay.
The ethical hacker. Who knows game engines inside and out.
Oh, okay. Very good.
We'll see.
Okay, very good. Okay. Any more questions, comments from anybody before we close? Before Warlix gives a smooth closing? See, Warlix is learning this technology too. Okay, Warlix, ready for your smooth closing.
Very short and precise. So thank you for your talk. It's very fantastic, and many people expect this talk and a different topic, right? Then you show that not that too much serious. Okay, so thank you for tonight. I don't know, here tonight. Okay, and I hope I see you next time. Yeah, and hope you find an engineer that work Because
Yeah,
I
yeah, right.
wish that technologies come true. I love technologies too.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me. See you
Okay,
guys.
Stick
Okay.
around. We're gonna end this, but stick around to network. Thank you.
Okay.